is a slow process which we call either ideological subversion or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. Your leftists in United States, all these professors and all these beautiful civil rights defenders, they are instrumental in the process of the subversion only to destabilize the nation. When their job is completed, they are not needed anymore. They know too much. Some of them, when they get disillusioned, when they see that Marxist-Leninists come to power, obviously they get offended. They think that they will come to power. That will never happen, of course. They will be lined up against the wall and shot.
It's very fortuitous. Your timing comes right in the middle of this big hubbub about this Native American elder and this young boy with one of those stupid fucking red hats on.
Yep.
Would you have ever imagined that a slogan like "Make America Great Again" would be so divisive? As somehow or another, like that would be like "Make America Great Again," which sounds like they just want to make things great, like all positive. No. And a red hat with white letters. Has there ever been a time like that where an object like a red hat with white letters was so repulsive to half the country?
Yes. Well, I mean, some people see it as the equivalent of a white hood.
Media, if you can get me, Glenn Beck, to do this, and in case you're only listening to us on radio, I just donned a red Make America Great Again hat. If you can drive me to the point to where I say, you know what, I've had enough, I'll vote for him in 2020. Gladly, I'll vote for him in 2020. And not really even on his record, which we'll talk. You're a legion of people with global resources, 24 hours a day, hammering one man, just hammering over and over and over again. And you don't believe in your case. You don't believe that the truth is enough. You just gotta make stuff up. This is truly Trump derangement syndrome.
When the President of the United States whips up people to beat the hell out of people, say goodbye.
That kid, what a little prick. Smirk face. I do not get what Catholic priests see in these kids.
Judge Kavanaugh, are you ready to begin?
What? First of all, I feel like we spent all of 2017 still stuck in 2016.
I agree.
Can we put the Bernie, Hillary thing aside, that great divide? I mean, that's what all the controversy was with your book, you know, that the elections were, the primaries were rigged, and, you know, that the elections were, the primaries were rigged, and, you know, that the elections were, the primaries were rigged, and, you know, it doesn't matter, first of all, now. It's over. And also the policy differences between the Bernie folks and the Hillary folks were really small to begin with. That's another thing that could hold us back. What? You know, that the elections were, the primaries were rigged, and...
It's like, you know, at first it was a thing of like, listen, if I tell the truth, then that's it, because it's the truth. Then it became a thing of like, oh, how can you doubt that? Like, how do you not believe that? It's the truth. And then it became a thing of like, oh, it's not necessarily that you don't believe that this is the truth. You don't even want to see the truth.
First, Smollett attempted to gain attention by sending a false letter that relied on racial, homophobic, and political language. When that didn't work, Smollett paid $3,500 to stage this attack and drag Chicago's reputation through the mud in the process. I'm left hanging my head and asking why. Why would anyone, especially an African-American man, use the symbolism of a noose to make false accusations?
I heard, as I was crossing the intersection, I heard Empire. And I don't answer to Empire. My name ain't Empire. And I didn't answer. I kept walking, and then I heard Empire. So I turned around and I said, did you just say to me? And then I see the attacker masked, and he said, this MAGA country punches me right in the face. I noticed the rope around my neck and I started screaming, and I said, there's a rope around my neck.
That the elections were, the primaries were rigged.
I am here today not because I want to be. I am terrified. I am here because I believe it is my civic duty to tell you what happened to me while Brett Kavanaugh and I were in high school.
I've never sexually assaulted Dr. Ford or anyone.
What?
There's some great good to exposing these things, but in doing so, the overzealous approach of accusing all men of being potential rapists, isn't it just an overreaction, and won't it balance itself out? Do you think that it's more complicated than that?
It's gonna backfire.
Yeah, it looks like a power grab.
But won't the backfiring balance itself out? I mean, reasonable people like you or myself, we're always going to recognize the difference.
I noticed the rope around my neck and I started screaming, and I said, there's a rope around my neck.
What?
So if you are essentially looking at a situation, if you say, we must believe all victims, that's like putting out a neon sign for bad actors that wish to utilize this structure, right? So,
and there will be bad actors in
yes.
every population. Male is a population, female is a population. There are monstrous males who've been behaving predatorily. There will be women who will take advantage of this.
So, I mean, that is the land of unconfirmed.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
Did it have anything to do with your visit?
No, I'm sure it did.
I am here because I believe it is my civic duty to tell you what happened to me while Brett Kavanaugh and I were in high school.
I have a theory on why a lot of people fell for this. I don't think anybody here thought this was real. But I think a lot of students who went to college in the last decade or so are now employed in media, entertainment, human resources. And they went to college when the victimhood virus began, right? And so they've graduated and they've moved on, and they're in newspapers, they're working in television. They fall for this. They don't have the immune system to see that these stories. I'm trying to be forgiving here, but they don't have the immune system to see what a bunch of baloney this is. But if you've been around for in the real world, you would have smelled this, and you wouldn't have given it all the attention. Unfortunately, at CNN, they have a lot of people that fell for it.
And accuse people without reason.
I mean,
And speaking of that, you had the #1 show recently, and ABC fired you over that tweet.
Yeah.
So you tweeted this thing out one night about Jarrett, that woman.
It was about the Iran deal, and let me say this: it was
Jarrett.
It was 3 months of discussing the People's Revolution, the woman's revolution in Iran. 3 months. I was on there day and night, and they took one sentence out of that entire tweet storm
Yeah.
where other people were involved, including reporters in Iran. And they mischaracterized that tweet and just threw dirt on my name and took my life's work away from me and then continued to disparage me. And they still do.
Yeah.
And of course I was like, we talk about God, well, we didn't get to that yet, but I'm sure we will.
We will.
Yeah.
What they accuse us of is what they're doing.
Do. Yeah, exactly.
It's so amazing.
Presidential inauguration. Right?
I was invited by, we did a VIP thing for the vets and went to the Veterans Ball, and so I went to go see Democrats and Republicans. Yeah, I went to the inauguration. It was
I'm not attacking you.
You're getting this down. I'm not kidding. You got to be real careful around here. You get beat up. If you don't believe what everybody believes, this is like 30s Germany. I don't know what happened.
And any fan of mine who's a supporter of his, I'm drawing in the sand a line. You're either for or against. And if you can't decide who you like more and you're split on who you should stand beside, I'll do it for you with this.
I noticed the rope around my neck and I started screaming. And I said, there's a rope around my neck.
What?
Actually, blacks weren't always Democrats. It's like the plan they did to take the fathers out the home and promote welfare. Does anybody know about that? That's a Democratic plan. Now you got a situation where we need to have a dialogue and not a diatribe. Because if you want something to change, it's not going to change by saying, fuck that person. Try love. You see, they laughing at me. You heard them, they scream at me. They bully me. They bullied me backstage. They said, don't go out there with that hat on. They bullied me backstage. They bully me. And then they say, I'm in a sunken place. You want to see the sunken place? Okay, I'm going to listen to y'all now. I'm going to put my Superman cape on. You can't tell me what to do.
Some days I'm not gonna please everybody. No half truth is naked minds. This ain't what they had in mind, but maybe someday.
Follow your heart and stop following your mind. That's how we're controlled. That's how we're programmed. If you want the world to move forward, try love. Thank y'all for giving me this platform. I know some of y'all don't agree, but y'all be going at that man neck a lot, and I don't think it's actually that helpful. I think the universe has balance. 90% of news are liberal. 90% of TV, LA, New York, writers, rappers, musicians. So it's easy to make it seem like it's so one-sided. And I felt kind of free. I thought this country said I could be me. I love me too. And I love y'all too, so bring the band back. Bring the band back. Did you feel that?